All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a really chilling story, a first-person account of a road trip that just went completely off the rails. It's a story about a getaway that turned into a terrifying brush with something that, well, just can't be explained. And it all kicked off with a single milestone on a dark, foggy road. This quote from Sahil, who's telling the story, really gets to the heart of it all. It's about how something so innocent, so comforting, can get twisted into a symbol of absolute horror. So let's jump back to the beginning and see just how this trip went so incredibly wrong. So let's set the scene here. We've got four friends, Sahil, Chirag, Arun, and Samay, and they decide to head up to Manali for a trip. But this wasn't just some random vacation. It had a real purpose. They were trying to help their friend Samay deal with a really devastating personal tragedy. You see, Sammy's younger brother had died tragically just a few months before, and this guy, who was always the life of the party, had just shut down. So this trip was their way of trying to bring the old Sammy back. By day 3, spirits are pretty high, and they make a plan to drive up to the gorgeous Rohang Pass. Now, as they're about to head out, the hotel receptionist gives them this very specific piece of advice. And it wasn't just, hey, watch out for traffic. It had this weight to it, this kind of ominous vibe that the guys just kind of brushed off at first. So, of course, they ask him, why? What's the big deal about 6 p.m.? And that's when he tells them that the name Rotang literally means Valley of Death or Pile of Corpses. He tells them this local legend about something called a Mayavi Saya, a deceptive spirit that haunts the pass after dark, and that people who stay out too late have been found dead the next day. So, what do? They laugh it off. They figured it's just some local ghost story to scare the tourists. They just get in the car and drive off, totally clueless that they're about to drive right into the middle of the very legend they were just making fun of. Okay, let's fast forward to that night. And this is where things start to get really weird. It's way past 9 p.m., they're finally heading back, but it is pitch black out. And this super thick fog has just rolled in, making these winding mountain roads almost impossible to see. Arun's driving, and he's peering through this dense fog when he spots a milestone, Manali 28 km. But as they're squinting, Sahil spots something else, something that makes no sense. There's an old man just sitting there on the stone. And get this, he's wearing just a thin dhoti in the freezing cold. It's unsettling, to say the least. But he doesn't say anything, just kind of keeps it to himself. So they keep driving, right, for a good 20 minutes, just creeping along in this fog. And then they see it. Again. The exact same milestone, Manali 28 km. At first, they're just confused. Maybe they took a wrong turn. But then, after another hour and a half of driving, there it is. A third time. And that's when the chilling reality sinks in. They're stuck. They're in some kind of impossible loop. Okay, and this is the point where simple confusion just explodes into full-blown panic. Because as they're all starting to freak out, they realize they didn't even see the same thing. Sahil saw the old man, but Chirag swears it was a little girl holding a toy. And Arun, the guy driving, he's positive it was a lone black horse just staring at them. How is that possible? They're all looking at the exact same spot at the exact same time. And while all this terror is building, Sammy, the friend they're all there to help, remember, he gets weirdly calm, almost detached. He just keeps saying over and over that someone out there needs their help, and if they ask, they have to stop. It's so out of place, it just freaks his friends out even more. Then, just as suddenly as it started, the loop breaks. They're moving again. But whatever relief they feel, it lasts about 2 seconds. Arun, staring dead ahead, whispers this absolutely terrifying warning. Don't look outside, but someone is running next to us. Of course they look. How could you not? And what they see is just impossible. It's a boy, maybe 15 years old. His face is all banged up, his clothes are caked in mud, and he's running right alongside their car. The car is doing 40 kilometers an hour, and this kid, he's not even breaking a sweat. It's like he's just gliding. So while his friends are basically paralyzed with fear, what does Sammy do? He just repeats it. He needs help. And then he calmly rolls down his window, completely ignoring everyone screaming his name. He just locks eyes with the boy. And then the running figure just stops.
As the car pulls away, Sahil looks in the rearview mirror and sees the boy standing there, waving. But the part that will give you chills, Sammy looks in his side mirror, smiles, and just calmly waves right back.
Okay, so after that incredibly disturbing encounter, the spell or whatever it was is finally broken. They see a new sign, Manali 16 km, and you can just imagine the relief. Arun just slams on the gas and they get the heck out of there, finally stumbling back into the hotel around 2 in the morning. They're totally shaken and they all just agree, let's not talk about this, not until morning. They just want to sleep it off. But you know how these stories go, right? The horror wasn't left behind on some dark mountain road. Nope, it followed them home. It was right there in the room with them, just waiting.
Sure enough, at 3:30 a.m., in the dead of night, Sahil wakes up. It's not a loud noise that woke him. It's something quiet, something soft, a sound that should be comforting. But in that moment, it feels completely, terrifyingly wrong. He knows that song instantly. It's a Hindi lullaby. But more than that, it's the specific lullaby that Same's mom used to sing to him and his little brother when they were kids.
So Sahil looks over at Sammy, and he's wide awake. He's just sitting up in bed, staring into the mirror on the wardrobe. But what Sahil sees in the reflection, oh man, it's not Sammy. I mean, it is, but his eyes are glowing red. There are these dark marks on his neck, like strangulation bruises, and he has this tiny, awful smile on his face as he sings that lullaby to himself.
Absolutely terrified, Sahil shakes the other guys awake. They're whispering Samy's name, but he's just gone, unresponsive. As they're backing away, too scared to even touch him, the singing suddenly stops. And then, a voice comes out of Samy's mouth, but it's not his voice. It's soft like a child's, and it asks, "If I knock on your window tonight, will you open it and help me?" And right after saying that, he just collapses. The next morning, it was just undeniable. Something terrible had latched onto Sammy on that road. And remembering the receptionist's weird warning, they knew this was way beyond their ability to handle. They had laughed at the local legends, but now they desperately needed someone who understood them. So they find a local pundit, a priest, and take Same to him. And the priest, he takes one look at Same and just knows. He explains that Same's grief, his deep sorrow over his brother, had basically opened a door. It made him vulnerable. And this thing, this Mayavi Saya, which means a deceptive spirit, it sensed that pain and used it. It probably pretended to be his brother's spirit to get invited in. The pundit immediately starts doing these rituals, these prayers, to force the entity out, and it sounds like it was intense. It all ended with Sammy violently vomiting this thick, black, tar-like liquid. And after that, he was free. He was back to his old self, with absolutely no memory of what happened that night. So Sammy gets better, but you can imagine, his friends were never the same. For Sahal, that sweet lullaby is now the sound of his worst nightmare. And it really leaves you with this chilling thought, doesn't it? Whether you believe it was a ghost or a psychological break, it makes you wonder, if grief really is like an open wound, what kind of things are drawn to it in the dark?